Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing great today. My voice is a little deeper today because I had a bit of flu and sore throat, but we're still going to get this tutorial done. So in today's video, we're going to build a React Native application using Expo router. And this app is called Learnix, where users can explore different courses and learn a lot from these courses. We will have two types of courses. Some will be paid, some will be free. So user will be able to pay for the premium membership and then access the paid content. But we're going to use Expo router. We're going to use Clerk for authentication. We're going to use Gluestack for UI and Sanity for data management. So you're going to learn a lot by building this application. And if you want to learn building professional apps just like this one, then follow me on Twitter, on YouTube to sharpen your React Native skills. So before further wasting any more time, let me show you a demo of this application. So here we have the welcome page. This is on iOS. Once we hit get started, we will go to the login page. Here user can log in. So I can either log in with email and the password, or I can continue with the Google. So let me just continue with Google. Let's continue. We're using Clerk for authentication, and Clerk has also sponsored this video as well. Let's use this account. Continue. Okay, so I'm logged in with my Google account, and this is the home screen of the application where we can see all the courses. So here we have the profile data, we have the user image, user name. We can search for the courses, explore the recent courses. So if I click on a course, so this is a paid course, so I have to buy the premium membership to see the content of this course. But if I go back, there is a free course. If I click on this, I can see all the chapters, and if I click on any chapter, I can see the chapter video. So this is the tutorial for that chapter. So let's go back, and let's go back. Then let me show you the sign up process as well. So if I just log out, go to sign up, and let's create a new account. We have added the email verification as well. So once you try to sign up, this is going to send a 6-digit code on your email. So let me just confirm that code on my phone. So it's 004101. That's verified. And once the email is verified, we'll be moved to the home screen. So here you can see this image is provided by Clerk. This is a placeholder image if you don't have the profile image. So we can search for the courses and explore the courses. Let's search for, here we have the Next.js from zero to production course. So let's search for next. We don't have this course, so next, like this. And there we can see this course, and if we hit explore courses, then we can see all the available courses on our application, and all of the data is coming from the Sanity Studio. We're using Sanity CMS for fetching dynamic data in our application. So if I go to the paid course, I won't be able to see this, so we're gonna have to subscribe to the premium membership. Let's hit subscribe. It will take us to a web page where we can see all the plans. So we have a free plan and a pro plan. If I don't want to pay annually, I can just turn this off. So $10 per month if I want to pay by month, and if I turn this on, I get a discount. So I like this discount, so let's just subscribe. Now we have to log in using the same account that we used for our application. If we used Google account, we will be using this. If we used email, then we are going to use this. So let's use this one. And then our password. Okay, now we should be able to subscribe. Okay, so here is the pro membership. $9 for 12 months, and total is $108. You can pay with this card, but because we're using test mode from Clerk, so I'm going to pay with the test card. Then the payment was successful. Let's hit continue. And then here you can see the profile details from your Clerk account. You can see the profile username. You can actually update your profile, and then you can add other email addresses as well. This is your primary email address. If we go to this menu, you can go to security, and here you can see devices, your email, this account is logged in. You can update the password, and then if you go to billing, you can see all the details of your membership. You're currently on a pro membership, and this is $108 per year. You can actually manage these plans or cancel the plan. So let's go back. Your payment methods are here. We can actually create a new payment method. We can see the statements, the payments, everything is here. So let's return to the app. Yes, open. Okay, so now that we have the pro membership, and now if we click on this paid course, now we are able to see the contents of this course because we are on a pro membership. And if I click on the chapter, I can see the chapter video. So let's go back, and here we have a profile menu. So if I click on profile, this is actually going to open the web profile view from the Clerk. So Clerk provides this user profile component that renders on the web. That's why I need to move this on a web so users can manage their profile. So if I just update the profile from here, let's add a profile photo. Let's add this one, and it's updated. Let's return to the application, open. There we can see the updated profile image, so everything is working. So the application is working smoothly on iOS, but it also works the same on Android. So here is the Android version of the app. Let's get started, and let's log in with my account. After login, we move to the home screen where we can see all the courses. We can search for the courses. We see the profile data, and we can explore all the courses. If we click on any course, if it's free or paid, we should be able to see the course content because this user has the premium access. And we can still go to manage billing and see the user profile. This is showing the premium plans because I'm not logged in on the browser, but I'm logged in on the browser here. So if we go to the manage billing, this is going to show the user profile because I'm logged in on this one. So everything is working flawlessly on iOS and Android. So if you want to build the same application using Expo Router, Clerk, Gluestack, and Sanity, then follow me along in this video, and you can find the source code of this project into the video description. You can also follow me on Twitter and YouTube if you want to master React Native skills and if you want to see more projects like this. So let's get started. So now let me walk you through the libraries that we're going to use to build this application. We're building this application with Expo Router, which gives an easy React Native setup, so you don't have to deal with the painful native configuration. So this is the Expo website. You can just simply create an Expo Router app using this command. I've already created an Expo application, which I'll show you in a second. Then we are using a Gluestack for the UI. We are using Gluestack because it comes with ready-made accessible components and a design system out of the box. So instead of spending hours styling everything from scratch, we can just focus on features while still keeping the clean UI and consistent. Then for authentication, we're going to use Clerk, and this video is sponsored by Clerk as well. Clerk handles full authentication flow, email, password, OTP, social login, user profiles, and session management, all in a very secure and production ready way. So instead of reinventing the auth, we just plug it in and get the enterprise level security from day one. You can also see some reviews from the CEOs that use Clerk. So here you can see. Then we are going to use Sanity for data, because our application will be dynamic. So we're going to use Sanity as a CMS. That means we can manage things like text, images, and other content in a dashboard. Then fetch everything into our application using APIs. It keeps the app flexible so we can update data without pushing a new build. So overall, we're going to use Expo router for the app, Gluestack for the UI, Clerk for authentication, and Sanity for managing data. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this and to keep improving your React Native skills. And without further wasting any more time, let me show you the application that I have built. So here I've already built an application. It's just the UI of the app. No functionality is implemented yet. The app is called Learning. So let me show you the design that I've built so far. This is the welcome page, and once we hit get started, we go to the login page. Here is the login page. Continue with Google. Then login takes us to the home screen where we can see the courses. And then if we click on explore courses, then it will take us to all the available courses in our application. We have a search bar, the setting model, and then these buttons do nothing yet because we're going to make them functional in a bit. Then we have the profile information. If we click on a course, it takes us to the course details page. This is all dummy data for now, but if we click on any chapter, this will open a video player, and I've placed a dummy video in for now. So here you can see. So this is what I've done so far, and let me show you the code for the same application. If we open the app folder, we have two main groups, the authentication and the main app group. In the authentication, we have pages like login, sign up, and welcome. Then in the main group, we have the course details, the courses list, and the home screen, which you are seeing now. And on the layout, we just have some theme configuration and Gluestack provider. Because we're using Gluestack, so we are able to use Tailwind classes as well, because Gluestack uses native Wind. So we can just use native Wind classes, Tailwind classes to design our application. Then we have some components. The UI folder contains all the Gluestack UI components, and then here are the custom components that I've built for my application. We have chapter list, we have the course list, email verification model, and then header. I think this is the one. This is the header. So then we have the setting menu, which is this one. This model, and then we have the video player model, which I've already shown you before. If we click on the video detail, course details, and click on this one, this is in the video player model. So let's go back. Okay, now let me walk you through the code that we use in these screens. So if we go into the index, if we reload the application, you will see we have the logo of the application, and after some time it goes to the welcome page. This is the logic for that. I'm using set timeout, and after some time it pushes the new route in the router to go to the welcome page. And here is the code that shows the splash screen and the logo of the application. So if we go into the welcome page, here we have the UI for the welcome page. So you can find the complete source code of this application in the video description. I'll provide the link in the description. So here's the welcome page. Then we have the sign up page. In the login and the sign up page, all the authentication is done, all the animations are done. So if I go to the login, you will see the page and all the components are animating from the bottom. And if we click on login, right now it's just it's going to the home screen, but here in the on submit function, as you can see, we have a button at the bottom, login, and on submit, on press triggers on submit function, and Here we're just going to the home screen, but if I just comment that and uncomment this, then save. So here now it will be validating the email and the password. So let's get started and log in. Now we can see the toast. Please fill all the details. So this is the login page, and same is for the sign up page as well. Then let's go to the home screen, and we need to go to the home screen from this login page. So let's comment this back. Let's save this. Okay, now we are in the home screen. So on the home screen, we have these states for loading, for courses, and query and debounce query. So these are for the search input. So if I make the loading true, you can see it now shows the okay. So the reason why we are seeing this screen again and again is because I'm using a timeout in the index page. So if I just remove this, I think this is causing the issue. So let me just we just add a button to go to the home screen. Go to home for now. Actually, let's just make it go to login. Then on press router.push/ it will auto suggest all the routes in our application. So let's go to login, then hit enter. Now it's not going back to the index page again. So if I just reload, here we can see the button. If I go to the login, we are in the login page, then home screen. So now it's showing the indicator that we turned on. So if I just save this, then we have all the courses back. So the idea is that once the user goes to the home page, it will show the loading until all the data is fetched. Then once we have the courses, it will display all the courses. Then a user can search the courses and it will start the loading. That's what the loading is for. And the courses state will hold the courses. Right now it's showing all the dummy courses which we have here in the data. So each course will have the ID, title, description, type, and thumbnail. Then let's go back and we have a query. So the query, debounce query is for not updating the UI again and again whenever user types a letter. So here I'm using set timeout and clear timeout. So to set the query state whenever user types anything into the search box. So here let me show you. This will show every time when we type anything. So let's say search for JavaScript. So you can see it will only update whenever I type the word and whenever 500 millisecond times passes. So this is very useful. So let's clear this, and this will update the query as well. Okay, so this is the terminal. Now, so here we have the UI. We are displaying the name. All of this data is dummy for now because we still need to fetch the data and implement the authentication. But I'm just walking you through how the UI is built so you can get familiar with the code. So then here we have the course list component that receives the courses. And in the course list, we have a flat list, and each course card is another component. So here is a pressable. This is wrapped in a pressable so that when we click on it, it goes to the course details. Then here is the card for the courses. If we go inside, then we have the course details. So here is the course details page. And here we're already getting the course data that we are sending from the previous screen. So some of the courses will be paid and some of them will be free. So this one is free. That's why I can see all the chapters. So if we scroll down, and I think all of them are free. So with Clerk, we can actually have pro plans where user can buy a pro plan and he can become a pro member. Then if he's a pro member, we can have a premium content that only a certain members can only access. So each course also have a type that is paid or free. And if this course is paid, then it will only be visible to all the paid members. So this is controlled by is paid property. If the course type is paid, then it will be true. If not, then it will be false. So here at the bottom, we're displaying this UI to buy the premium membership if this is a paid course. So if I make this true, let's save this, then it will have the UI just like this. Obviously it won't have all these courses because right now it's showing everything when is paid is false. So right now we're using dummy data, that's why it's showing all the courses, but it won't show all the courses. It will just show this UI to subscribe to premium membership, and then the user will be able to access these, and all will be done through the Clerk. So let me just change this back to is paid. Let's save this. Now let's go back, and this is how the app is working right now. And now we're going to start implementing the Clerk authentication, and for that first you will have to register on Clerk. So let's do that. So I'm already registered on Clerk. Here is the dashboard. So once you are registered on Clerk with email or Google sign-in or GitHub sign-in, then you will see this page, applications. This application I made while building the course application, but let's start from scratch and create a new application. Once you create a new application, they will ask you to add the providers for your application and the name of your application. In our case, the application name is Learnix. So I'm just gonna add this name, sign into Learnix. This shows a real-time UI of how the ready-made template is going to look. Sign into Learnix. Here is the sign in with Google, email, and password. So for now, I'm going to enable the email and password sign-in option and the Google sign-in option. Then hit create application. Okay, so once the application is created, here you can see some guides to add Clerk into your application. If you are using Nest.js, React, Astro, Expo, or bare iOS or JavaScript, we are using Expo. So I'm just going to click on this, and this is a very easy guide to set up a Clerk authentication in Expo. So let's just follow this and add sign in and sign up functionalities into our application. So first we will have to install Clerk library. So let me just copy this, go to our application, and here let's just stop the server and paste this command. This is going to install the Clerk library. Then we are going to create an .env file where we need this Clerk public key. So this is a test key. Let's just copy this and go to our application. I believe we don't have any env file, so let me just create a new one, .env, then paste this. So this is the public key that we'll be using for Clerk. Let's save this. Then we need to have a Clerk provider that wraps our entire application. So what I'm gonna do is, let's go to the layout in our app folder. We have the layout file, and this is the you can say the root layout of our application, and we're going to wrap the Clerk provider around this. What I'm gonna do is, let's just copy this, make this the root layout, and let's make this the main layout. We're not going to export this, so this will be a simple function, and we're going to export the root layout. But here we just need to add the what do we call it, the Clerk provider. Let's just copy this and paste it here. We have the Clerk provider, and then here we just need to add the main layout. Let's save this. So this is how we wrap the Clerk provider. Then we need to install Expo secure storage as well, because Clerk uses it for securely storing the tokens. So let's just copy this, paste this here. Okay, then we need a way to protect our authentication in the layout or anywhere where you decide how you navigate to authenticated pages or the public pages. So here we have the hook called use auth, and it gives you a boolean value is signed in, and if it's true, that means the user is logged in. If it's not, then it will just mean the user is not logged in, or you can just navigate to login page or welcome page. So let me just copy this line to get the use auth hook, and what I'm gonna do is let's go to the index page, and here let me just paste that line. We're going to get the value here like this. Now we can use this to go to the home page or the sign in page if user is logged in or not, but I still want to keep the splash screen as well. So we still need a way to use the set timeout and go to the home page after the splash screen is done. So let's just create a use effect hook, and it's going to trigger whenever is signed in changes. There is another variable that we can use from the same hook is loaded. This means when the Clerk library is loaded in the context or not. So let's provide that as well. Now here we're gonna check if it's not loaded, then we just simply return from here. But if it's loaded, then we're gonna have a logic where we will check if user is logged in or not. Then we will show the splash screen for 1 second and then navigate to home screen or welcome screen based on is signed in property. So what I'm gonna do is let's create a timer using set timeout. Oh, that's good. Then we're gonna have a timeout of 1000 milliseconds. Here create a condition if is signed in is true, then we gonna place the current with the home screen. Yes, if it's not, then we just copy this and go to the welcome page. Yeah, so welcome page is in the auth group, that's why it was giving an error. So after this is done, when the component unmounts, we need to clear this timer as well. So we can use clear timeout and provide this timer. Let's save this. Okay, so right now when I reload the application, we will see this error because we are not running the application. So let's do this command npm run iOS. And here is our first error, and that is coming from the Clerk library Expo auth session. Okay, so we do need to install this library as well because Clerk needs this. So let's just close the server, npm install Expo auth session. It's installed. Let's do npm run iOS again. Okay, cool. So we see the splash screen for 1 second and then it goes to the welcome page because user is not logged in, and we don't see any error. That's a good sign. We do see some warning, safe area view has been deprecated. Okay, and Clerk has been loaded with the development keys. That's okay. We are using Clerk in a test mode because we just building this application in a development mode. Okay, so now we don't need this button as well. So let's just remove this. And if we just reload the application, there we can see the splash screen, and after a second it goes to the welcome page. Now we're gonna implement the sign up first so that user can create account. So let's go to sign up, and here we have another UI for email verification as well that I haven't shown you before. If we click on this page, it doesn't show, but let me show you. Let me just go to the sign up page, and here we have the verification model that shows a UI to input the verification code that is sent to the user's email, and once that code is verified, only then user will be able to create an account. So in the components, you can see we have email verification model. So we just have some text, and here is the input, enter the verification code. So we set the code, and then once it verifies, we will implement the functionality. of going to the home screen after the account is created. Now, first we're gonna implement the sign up functionality. So right now when a user clicks this, we are validating the name, email, and the password. And once we have that, then it's showing the model. So if I just have a value, email and password, then click on this. Here you can see the model that asks for the verification code, but the functionality is still pending. So let's go back, and here is a sign up code. You can expand this, and this is an example snippet of how you can create a simple sign up using email address and the password. So you can just follow this. So let's start implementing the sign up screen. To implement the sign up, we need a hook that is called use sign up. We can get all the values from that hook. So let's import that, use sign up. This is the one. And then we can get the values from it, like is loaded, then sign up and set active. This function is to set the active session after the sign up is done, I believe. So here we have these values. Then let's go to the on submit function, and here first we need to make a check if is not loaded. If the clerk is not loaded, then we just return from here, and then we're gonna start the loading. So let's set the loading true. If we set the loading to true, then we will just have an activity indicator here in the button. First, we're setting the loading to true, and then we're gonna try to sign up. So first we need to get the first name and the last name from the name input. So let's get the first name, and the rest will be the second name from name.trim, and then we're going to split it by a space like this. So the first name will be the first name, and all of the rest of the text will be the second name. So here we have the first name, and the last name will be rest of the string that we join using this string. Or if we don't have any rest of the strings, then we just add an empty string like this. So we have the first name and the last name. Then we're going to try the sign up. So let's add a try catch block. In case if we get any error, I'm just going to show the error here using toast.showToast. And here we have a description for the toast that will say error message. Or if we don't have any error message, then it will just say something went wrong, like this. After the catch block, then comes the finally block, and here we just set the loading to false, like this. So in the try block, first we're going to try sign up, and we have the sign up function already. So let's await sign up dot create. This is going to create a sign up request, and we're going to pass the email address as the email, then the first name, the last name, and then the password. So after we provide that, then we are going to send an email verification code to the user. So let's await for that. Sign up dot prepare email verification address. Then here we need to provide a strategy, and strategy is email code. Here you can see we can provide enterprise SSO, email link, or email code. We're going to use email code strategy. This will send a verification code to the user email, and once we verify that, only then he will be able to register an account. So let's do that. And then after the code is sent, then we need to set the model to true. So let's just copy this and paste this here. Let's save this. Okay, right now nothing happens. Let's just remove this. Okay, so if we click on this, we see this error, but let me just try with values. So yeah, Norman. Create account, and we can actually see the verification code model. That means it was sent to the email. Let me just confirm using my phone. Okay, so I just got the verification code. That means it's working. Now we just need to work on verification code, and once we done that, the registration will be done. Here in on submit code, this is the function that we are actually passing to the email verification model. So here you can see on submit code triggers on submit code, and once we enter anything here and verify, this will just console log the text that we just added here. We need to handle the OTP verification in here, and for that first we need to remove this, and here add a condition. If clerk is not loaded, then we return from here, but if it's loaded, then we set the loading to true, and then add a try catch block. If we have the error message, then it will show that or something went wrong. And then in the finally block, we'll just set the loading to false like this. And then in the try block, we're going to create a sign up attempt using this verification code. So Clerk already have a function for that. So let's create a sign up attempt. Await sign up dot attempt email address verification. Yes, this is the function. And then here we need to provide the code that we received on the user's email. So once we have that result, we're going to check if sign up attempt dot status equals to complete. That means the user's account is successfully created and we're ready to move to the home screen after setting the session. But if it's not, that means there is an error. So we'll just console log the error and show our toast showing something went wrong like this. And here, if the status is complete, then we will use this function set active to set an active session of the user. So let's use await set active, and session will be sign up attempt dot created session ID. So this is going to set a new session for the user on this device, that meaning the clerk will know that the user is signed in. So after we done that, we can just simply navigate to the home screen. So router dot push, actually let's use replace, and then main group, and then the home screen. Let's save this. Okay, now hopefully it's going to start the loading. Then it will attempt email verification and then go to the home screen after the registration is complete. So let's see if this is working. Okay, so let me just confirm the email code. So this is the verification code that I received on my mail. If I click on verify, we go to the home screen. The sign up is complete. And let me just confirm this by going to the dashboard. So, okay. So in the overview section, we have a new user. So this is the user that we just created, and it's showing under the signups. If we click on this, this will show all the information about this user. We can actually see the first name and the last name that we provided, the devices, the password. I don't think we can actually see the password. Yeah, we don't see the password. So we can upload an image. We have the settings. Okay, so the user is created. That means the sign up is complete. And now we need to work on the sign in functionality. So let's go back. But before we actually implement the sign in, we actually need to implement the sign out, because if you just reload the application, it shouldn't be going to this screen. Let me just go to the index. And when the user is signed in, it should go to the home screen. I shouldn't be going to the welcome page because we just signed up, and after sign up, the user was signed in. So what went wrong? Let's go to sign up, and we just added the active session. Let me go to the layout. Okay. So I think this here is the problem. We need to provide a token here, a cache token that remembers if the user is logged in or not. So let me just import the token from Clerk. So we have the token cache from Clerk Expo. So we need to provide this to the Clerk provider. Let's add token cache. Did we not import it right? I think it needs to be imported from Clerk Expo / token cache. Token cache. Maybe we just need to import it with the lowercase t. Let's do that. Okay, the error is gone. So let's change the values. Let's save this. And now we should be ready to go. Let's just reload the application. Okay, so we need to implement the login first, then we will implement the sign out. So if we get started, here we have the login page. So let's go to login. And here, let's get the values from use sign in, just like how we did in the sign up page. So we will be getting sign in, use sign in. And then here we need to get sign in, set active, and then is loaded. Here let's check if is not loaded, then we just return from here, and if it's loaded then we implement the login functionality, but we need to add this as well. So let's just remove this, and this will come after this one. And then here let's add a try catch block. In the finally block, we just set the loading to false. And in the catch block, if we get any error, we're just going to use the toast to show this error. Something went wrong, like this. And then in the try block, first we need to set the loading to true. And then we create a sign in attempt. Let's await for sign in dot create. And here we need to provide the password. And the email will be identifier. We're getting this error. This should be await sign in dot create. So this should be identifier. And here we need to provide the email because we're using email password authentication. So we need to provide email and then the password. Then once we get the result, we're going to check if sign in attempt dot status equals to complete. That means the sign in was complete. Here we will just set the active session, set active. So session will be sign in attempt dot created session ID. So this will be the new session created after this sign in attempt. And then we just replace the current route with the home screen, this one. And if the sign in attempt dot status is not complete, that means we got an error. So in the else block, we will console log the error and show a toast showing something went wrong, like this. This should be sign in attempt. Let's save this. Okay, so hopefully we will submit the email and the password, start loading email and the password, set the active session when the status is complete. In case if we get any error, we just console log it here. So let's save this and let's try the sign in. We already have a user, so let's use the same login. Actually, first I'm going to try with the wrong password to see if it's validating the email and the password as well. So if I log in, password is incorrect, try again or use another method. So validation is working, and now let me try with the correct password and hit sign in. Okay, so we are going to the home screen. That means the user is signed in. So let's just reload the application. Now we should be going to the home screen because now we're using token cache inside the layout that is persisting the user session as well. Before we weren't using this, that's why user session was not stored. So that's why when we reload the application after sign up, we never go to the home screen. So now we're in the home screen and we have no way to go back. So now we can implement the sign out functionality, and the sign out button is found in the setting model. So here we have the setting model, which is not functional. So we just have a logout button. Let's go to the settings menu. It's actually the menu. So here we have the logout button. So logout is very easy. We just need to get a sign out function from a hook that is called use clerk, and we get sign out. So let's create a function here on logout, and let's create a try catch block. And when we get any error, we just console log the error and show the toast that something went wrong if there is an error. So we need to get the toast as well. So let's get the toast component from use toast hook. I believe it's in the hooks. So let's use this one. We got the spellings wrong. It should be this one. Okay. Then in the try block, first we need to await for the sign out. And after that is done, we just replace the current route with the login route. This one. Let's save this. And now we need to add this when user clicks on this item. So let's add an on press property, and let's just add on log out. Let's save this. Okay, now let's just reload the application and see if this is working. We see the splash screen, and because user is signed in, we are going to the home screen. So now if I click on logout, we are logged out and we go to the login page. So if I reload the application, now we should go to the welcome page, and that we are doing. So the login is working, sign up is working, and sign out is working. Now let me log in again and see what user values we get from the current session. So let's use the same login. Okay, so here in the home screen, let me just console log the user values. Let's go to home, and Clerk basically provides us a hook that is called use user. So we can get the user object from use user hook. And let me just console log this user. Let's save this, and here we have the user values. Obviously, it has a lot of authentication properties which we don't actually need, but it does have the username properties as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to display the username here. So here we have the dummy name for now. So let's get the username here. We can use user dot first name. Let's save this. And there we have the first name, and we can also use a second name as well, user dot last name. Let's save this. There we have the username, and that is dynamic, coming from the current user session, which we stored while signing up. So I'm not going to use this first name, last name property every time. Instead, I'm going to create a utility function that will get us the user full name. So let's create a folder called utilities, and then let's create a name utility and a function that is going to get us the full name. So let me just paste that function here. We will pass the user resource, which is the user object from use user hook from Clerk, and then we will get the first name, the last name, and then we'll just merge them together and then send it back. So this is the type of the user resource. So we need to get this type from Clerk, user resource. Let me just copy that from the Clerk types. Okay, so let's save this. Now we can use this function to get the full name of the user. So get full name, and we can just pause the user. Let's save this, and we don't see any change because it was already showing the user first name and the last name. So all good here. Now this is the user data. So let me just close this and remove this. Let's save this. And now we need to go back and implement the sign in with Google. So let's log out, and login is working, sign up is working, but we need to work on Google sign in. And for that, first you need to make sure the Google sign in is added. If you go into the configuration, you should see here, we can see the email and the password functionality is enabled. You can see the green dot before them. Then we go into the SSO connections, and we enabled Google sign-in provider while building this project in Clerk. But if you don't see this here, you can add a new connection for all the users, and then use a built-in provider. I'm going to use the built-in Google provider, or you can use a custom provided with the name or key, the endpoint, the client ID. So you'll have to go to the Google console and create an application to get the client ID and the client secret. But you can if you don't want that, then Clerk provides a built-in provider. So I'm going to use this one and enable for sign ups and sign in. Block email server addresses, use custom credentials, no, then update connection. I've already added this, so that's why it's showing update connection, but in your case it will add connection. So if you add the connection, then you will see it here. So Google sign in is already added. So now we need to implement Google sign in into our application, and you can see the documentation button on this provider. So if we just click on this, we have a documentation to add the Google as a social connection. So you can follow this documentation, or there is another documentation for customizing the authentication flow. So I'm just going to add that here. So if you go into the documentation, guides, development, custom flows, authentication, and OAuth connections, if we hit enter, then here is a documentation for building a custom flow for authentication with OAuth connections. So if we go into the sidebar, you can see customizing Clerk, then building your own UI, authentication, and here we have the OAuth connections. So this gives you a documentation in Expo to use Google sign-in, and here we have a custom snippet that I think it provides a sign-in button for Expo. There are other libraries as well, iOS, Android, or Next.js, but we're going to use the Expo one. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of writing all the code, let's just copy this whole code, and we're going to create a sign-in button in our application. So let's go to the component. Here, let me just create a new file, sign in with google.tsx, and let's copy all the code here. Okay, so let's see how this button is working. So this is the UI, and I think if I just save this, this will just show the Google sign-in button. So let me just import the router to get rid of this error, and let's just comment this. Let's save this, and this is the Google sign-in button. The name of the component is page. Let's change this to Google sign in button. Let's save this. Let's go to the login, and here let's just import this button. We already have a custom button for this, but let's see how we can design this. Continue with Google. This is the button actually. So let's use Google sign in button. I save this. So there we have the sign in with Google button. And before we start implementing this and see how this is actually working, first we need to design it exactly like how this button is. So what I'm going to do is just copy this button and go inside this, then return this UI like this. So we need to import the button. So this error is because we already have a button from React Native. So let's just remove this. And then we need to import the button from UI/button. Then we don't need to add the loading property. Instead, we can just have a disabled property. So disabled, we need to pass this from the props as well. So here in the props, we will get the disabled property. This is going to be Boolean. Oh, sorry. This needs to be a type like this. So we're going to pass this Boolean property if the button is disabled or not. And then we need to show the spinner as well. So import spinner. This is just an activity indicator, but it's from Gluestack. So we can provide the class name as well. Then we need to create a loading state here. By default, it's going to be false. Then we need to import this Google image. And then the text like this. So now we can just remove this, and on press should be on press. Let's do that. On press will be on press like this. Let's save this. Unable to resolve an error. Google logo from this. Yeah, we need to go one step back, so it should be like this. Now we have two buttons that look exactly like the same. So if we go to the login, we can just save this. And now we have only one button that is our UI. So here we have the loading, the image, the text. Now let's see how this is working. Now here we have a function use warm-up browser, and this is only for Android devices because preload the browser for Android devices to reduce authentication load times. It's actually for this. Then we are using this function here. And then we have this hook called use SSO, start SSO flow. And this is going to start the flow of Auth authentication. So here we are starting the flow. Strategy is Auth Google. Then we have the redirect URI, auth session, make redirect URI. So if the session is created after Google sign in, then we set the active session, and we will just check if there are any current tasks. So if we enable two-factor authentication, then a user will have to perform those before signing in on every request. So I'm not going to use this, but just so you know that if we enable those, then each time user signs in, he will have to perform like an OTP verification before sign in. So this is for those tasks, or if there are other verifications that you need or other tasks that you need before signing in the user, you can have another page for these tasks, and once user is done with those, then he can log in and go to the home screen. So this is for that, but we're not going to use this. So what I'm going to do is we will just leave this on command, and once the new session is created, we just push the new route. Actually, we just replace the new route as main/home. Sorry, the home page. Let's save this. So first, it's going to try the Google authentication, and then it will create a session after the sign in is complete. Else, if we get any error, it will throw an error and console log the error for us. So in the finally block, we need to set the loading to false. So let's add a final block, set loading to false. And we need to actually start the loading as well. So here, let's set the loading to true. Let's save this. And it will work when we click on this button. So let's try this. Hopefully it should work. Let's go back, and here we have just one error. disabled. So the disabled will be true only when the loading is true in the parent screen, like when we are logging in using the email and the password, then we shouldn't allow user to click on this button. So in that case, when the loading is true, we add the disabled property as true. So this will be loading. Let's save this. So all the errors are gone. Now let's see how this is working. So if I click on continue with Google, we see the loading. Expo wants you to use google.com. Continue. And then we see all the Google accounts that are logged in. I'm logged in with this one already. So let's use the same account. Let's continue. And we are on the home screen. That means we just logged in with the Google account. So if I just refresh the application. Okay, so we are in the home screen. It also got the first name and the last name from the Google login as well. And let's see on the Clerk dashboard. So if we go into the users, now we have two users, Code with Nomi and say the one. This is the email password user that we used before, and this one is with the Google account. We can see it here as well. So if we go to the users and click on any user, we can actually see what social account or provider he is using to log in. So you can see I'm using Google login with this account. So now it's actually getting a profile image as well. So that is cool. Then we have the social account, and if we go back and check this account was using email. So now it's showing the email address only. So you can see all this information on Clerk as well, because Clerk makes it very easy to manage and organize the users and see all their info. That is cool. So with this, the registration and the login is complete. Now we need to show the profile image on this one because it's still showing the dummy image. So if we go to the home screen, here we need to use the profile image. So let's just remove this. And here we need to provide a URI, which we can get from user.image URL. Let's save this. And there we can see the image that we got from the user. So we are displaying the user image, user name, and we'll come to the profile and the billing management later. But for now, the registration is complete. Now let's test everything that we have done so far. So let me just log out, reload the application. We already have created accounts. So let me just log in with the, let's try the Google login again. Continue. Continue. And we're logged in with the Google account. So let's log out again. And this time I'm going to use the previous email account. Okay, so for this one, Clerk also provides a dummy image for every user. So we are seeing this image because it's coming from the Clerk. So that's cool. Now with this, our authentication system is complete. Now we need to work on fetching the data into our application from Sanity. So right now we are seeing all these dummy courses and all the dummy chapters within our application, but we need to get this data from Sanity. And I've already created a Sanity project and added the course data that we will fetch. But what you can do is go to Sanity and create an account. And once you create an account, you will be redirected to this Sanity project. Here I have the course app that I've already built. So they will guide you how to create a project and add the schema. But I've already done that. But if you want me to create a detailed video on how to set up Sanity with all these courses, then let me know in the comments below, and I will create a separate video showcasing how I implemented this project and added all the data. But in this video, let's just focus on Clerk. And here we have the Sanity project. We have two contents, courses and the chapters. In the courses, we have Right now we only have 5 courses: full stack development, UI UX design, JavaScript, React Native, Next.js, and each course contains a title, a slug, description, a thumbnail, course type if it's free or paid, duration of the course, and then the chapters. These chapters are linked to the chapters content. If I go to the chapters, here are all the chapters, and each chapter includes a title, slug, description, and a video URL. This is the same dummy URL that I've shown in the chapters. So this is the same one. Then we have the order of the chapters in the course. It's also linked to the course as well. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to create a separate video for showcasing how everything is built in Sanity. So now to fetch this data, we need the project ID from this project. So let's go to the let's actually go to the studio and apps, and here we can actually go to the project dashboard. Here is the course app, and here we can see actually the usage, the members, studio, and everything about this project. But actually we are interested in project ID, so let's just copy this. Let's go to our .env file. So here, let me just paste this ID here, and we are going to have a variable as Expo public Sanity project ID. Let's save this. We're going to use this to call the Sanity project and get the data. And for that, we are going to create a folder called API. And inside this, let me just create a new file called sanity.ds. Now to fetch the data, we will need a Sanity client to connect with the Sanity Studio. So let me just close the server and install this library. The library is called @sanity-client. So it's installed. Now let's run the project. Okay, so we don't see any error. That's a good sign. Let's just minimize this, and here first we're going to export a Sanity client, and we have a function create client from Sanity, which is not importing. So let me just do that manually. Import Sanity client from a Sanity client like this. Create client. This is the function, and the create client function have some values. So here we need to pass an object with the project ID, as this is the project ID we just pasted into the env file. So process.env.expo public Sanity project ID. This should be const like this. Then we need to provide a data set, and we're using the production. So let's use production data set, and then use CDN. Let's make it true. So this will make sure that it caches the data, and so we don't have to fetch the data again and again on every request. Once the data is fetched, it will use the same cache data, and that is useful for our case so that we don't show the loadings every time. So then we need to provide the API version, this one. So now we have the Sanity client. Now we need to create a function that fetches the courses. So let's export const fetch courses. It's gonna be an async function, and it's going to receive a property called limit, and it will be a number. It's going to return a promise where the type is course props, which I'll show you in a second. So if you go into the course props, you can see each course will have an ID, title, description, type can be free or paid, thumbnail, and the chapters. And the chapter, it has an ID, title, course ID, description, video URL, and the order. So these are the types for the data. So here first we need to create a query to fetch the courses, and in Sanity we can actually create queries in the vision tab. Before we start testing with the API, we can actually create a query that fetches the data according to however we want, and then use the same query to fetch the data in our application. So If we go into the course app and in the getting started tab, I believe there must be a snippet showing how we can actually do that, querying the content with Grok. This is the one. So here is to provide the content name. The type will be post and we need to get the ID and the title. This is how we do that. Then run the query and this will get data. So if I just copy this and go to the vision, here let's provide a query. In our case, we have a type called course and we need to get the ID and the title. Yes. And let's hit fetch. Okay, so this way it's going to get all the titles for all the courses, and same way if you want to get other properties, you can add them here, and this query will get all the details. So let's say if I want to if I don't want to include the title, I just want to get the IDs and the description, let's say, and then fetch. Now it's getting the ID and the description, only that. So we don't have to create multiple APIs just for getting different data. We can actually modify the query and it will get the data accordingly. So that is very cool. Now here, let me just copy and paste the logic for getting the course details. So here I've created a query where type is course. So we're getting all the courses and the data that we need to get is ID, title, description, duration, and the type. And getting the image is a bit tricky, so you need to provide thumbnail URL as because it's an asset. So thumbnail dot asset and then the URL. So it's going to get, because each, if I just show you, if we go into the structure, courses, full stack development, here we have a thumbnail. Because it's an asset, to get the URL of this image, we will need to provide thumbnail dot asset and then the URL. So this will get the URL into the thumbnail URL, and then we are ordering the data using title in ascending mode, and then we are providing the limit. So if there is a limit, then it will use that limit, but if it's not, then it will just fetch all the courses. So this is the query, and then we just using Sanity to fetch using this query, and once we get the courses, we'll just return. And in case if we get any error, the courses will be empty and we'll just console log the error here. So let's save this and let's implement this on the home screen. Let's go to home, and here we need to provide a use effect hook. Actually, we don't need to do that because we can just use it here, because when we reload the page, you will see this is logged, because when the query is empty, this will be triggered here, and when the query is not empty, that means user is searching for a course. So then we can use another function to search for the courses. So let's just remove this, and here let's add a condition. If debounced query dot trim equals to an empty string, that means this input box is empty and we need to show the recent courses. So for that, we can just fetch the latest courses. We'll create this function in a second, but if debounced query has a value, else block, we will fetch searched courses. And then we need to pause the debounced query here as well. So let's create these two functions here, and let's copy the same for fetch search courses, and this will get the text as string. We'll implement this later, but for now let's focus on fetch latest courses. So here we need to add a try catch block, and if we get any error, we just console log the error, got error. And let's add a finally block as well, make the loading false. So here we need to first start the loading, set loading to true to show that we're fetching the courses, and then we need to get the data from fetch courses API, and here this should be await, sorry, and here we need to provide the limit. So what I want to do is I want to show only 3 recent courses on the home screen, and if user wants to see all the courses, then he can just go to this page and see all the courses. So this is where this function will be very helpful. We can pass the limit as 3 and it will only fetch the 3 courses, and if we use this function without the limit on all the courses page, then this will get all the courses available. So let's use that. Then we get the data and set it into the courses. Okay, so let's save this. We can see the loading, and after some time we hopefully got the courses, and we have only 3 items. That means we got the courses. And let me just confirm that by console log courses. Let's save this. So there we can see the courses. So let me just copy this and let's make it pretty. So here, if I just add this data and format this, you can see we have the ID of the course, description, duration, thumbnail, the title, and the type if it's paid or free. So let me just remove this. Let's save this. We are actually passing the courses data to the course list. Yes, as you can see. So let's go to the course list. Here we have the data. This is being passed to the course card. And here in the course card, we are passing this data to the course details screen, but this whole component is still showing the dummy data, so we need to remove that. So here, instead of this image, let's use the thumbnail URL, URI as item, thumbnail URL. Let's save this. So there we can see we are getting the dynamic URLs, thumbnail URLs from the data. Then we need to change the name of the course as the item.title. Save this. Here we have the dynamic name. And then here we need to add the type. So let's just add item.type if it's free or paid. So this course is paid and this one is free. Then this one is paid as well. And then we need to replace this duration, item-duration. Why do we get this error? Does not exist on the type. Let's go to the types. Okay, so let me just add the duration like this. Let's save this, go back. Okay, so there we can see the duration and it's showing all the real data from Sanity Studio. So if I just reload the application, you will see, and after seeing the loading, we have all the courses and we're getting all this real data from the Sanity Studio. So now we need to work on searching the courses as well, and that will be done in the home screen as well. So let's go to the home screen. And here is the function to do that. So let's go to the API, Sanity, and here let me just copy that function. It's really easy. I will just explain how it's working instead of writing every single letter. So here we have a function, search courses. We are sending the keyword, which is going to be the debound security string in our case. Then we're passing the limit, how many courses we want in return. And here we're checking if the keyword is not an empty string. Then we have the query, type is course. We need to fetch the courses and we are matching with the title or the description of the course. And if there is any match, then we will send the data with ID, title, description, the same data that we got from the courses API. So we are getting the same data here as well. So once we have the query, then we're going to use the Sanity client to fetch the query. And here we are actually passing the keyword that we are searching for. So here you see this KW is basically keywords. You can use the variables here. So we are passing the keyword here, and it's going to match the title with this keyword or description. And if there is any match, then it will send the data back. Then once we have the courses, we're going to return them, and let's use it here in the home screen. So here in this function, we actually need to do the same thing here. So let's just copy this and paste it here. Let's start the loading. Then instead of fetch courses, we're going to use search courses, and here we need to pass the text and then the limit. Let's just not pass the limit. Then once we get the data, we set it into the courses and set the loading to false. So let's save this. Now we don't see any change, but let's say I want to search for a specific course. So now I should be writing that here. Let's search for next. So if I type next, it's going to search that, and here we have the Next.js course. So if I type React, then we have the React Native Mastery course. So the search functionality is working, and if I remove everything, then it will fetch all the latest 3 courses, because here we have a functionality where if the debounce query is empty, then it will fetch the recent 3 courses that we have here. Okay, so let's go to the all courses screen, and here it's still showing the dummy data. The images are not accessible because we're using the dynamic data from the home screen. That's why, because this is the same component that we used in the home screen, so that's why it's showing a blank space. So we have the courses component, and here we have a loading state and the courses state, which will hold the courses. But if I make the loading to true, then this will show the loading, and once we're done fetching the courses, this will be false, like this. Okay, so let's just copy the same API from the home screen, this one, and paste it here. And we're going to use this inside a use effect hook. So then when the component mounts, it will first fetch the courses. And let's change this to fetch all courses. And let's import fetch courses API. And we don't need to provide the limit this time because we need to fetch all the courses. Once we get all the courses, we will just replace this with the courses, and let's save. So there we can see the loading, and then after some time it fetched all the courses. We only have 5 courses at the moment, so there we can see all the courses. Let's go back, and then if we go to the courses again, this time I didn't even see the loading, and this is because it's not basically calling the API again. If we go into the Sanity, we're using this su cd and true because it caches the API data, and it doesn't have to call the API again because it will just check if the data is already there in the cache. It will just show that instead of calling the API again and again. So that's why it's very instant. As I go to the screen, you can see it's very instant, and that's because of the use CDN property. Okay, so now we're able to fetch the courses. Now we need to work on fetching the course details. So if we go to this course, because this is the paid one, so now it's showing go to premium, and this is the free one. So that's why we can see all the courses, but this is still showing the dummy data, and that we need to work on. So let's go to the course details. Here we are already using the use local search param. This will get the data that we're passing from the course card. So if I go to the course list, here you can see in the pressable, we are passing the ID, title, description, thumbnail, and the type of the course. So let's go back, and here if I just console log the course data and open the terminal, you can see we have the data coming from the previous screen. So we can use this here. So we don't have to fetch course data again. We can just use this data. So let's just remove this. And here a URI has course.thumbnail URL. We shouldn't be getting this error. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to define a type here for the use local search params for the type of data that we're getting. So let me just do that here. Here we have a course type that will have the ID, title, description, type, and thumbnail. So we need to provide that to the use local search params. Now the error is gone. So here we have replaced the image of the course. If I go to the next course, there we have the next image. And if we have the full stack development, then we see this coding thumbnail. Then we need to replace the title of the course. And then the description. Let's save this. So we've replaced the description, the title, and the thumbnail. Now we need to check if it's paid or not. Then we will show this. So we have this property as type equal to paid or not. So we're already getting this data from the previous screen. If the type is paid, then is paid will be true. If it's not, then it will be false. So based on this property, we are showing this UI. If it's not paid, then we are showing the chapter list. So before we implement the pro features from Clerk, first I need to get the chapters, so at least we can see the chapters for free courses. And for that, first we will need to pass the course ID to this chapter list component. So let's add course ID as course underscore ID like this. Let's save this and go to the chapter list. And here in the chapter list, basically we're just rendering a list of all the chapters. Right now it's just showing the dummy chapters, this one. So here each chapter has an ID, title, description, video URL. So we actually first need to get the chapters list. So let's do that in a use effect hook. So here we can just go to the home screen and copy the same function for fetching the latest courses and paste it here. Let's just call it fetch course chapters and call it here like this. So set loading will be true and this will show the loading here. And once we get the courses, the chapter from the courses, then it will set it into the chapters. So here should be set chapters and then this data. But now we need to implement the API to fetch the chapters by course ID. So let's go to Sanity and let me just copy and paste the function to fetch the chapters by course ID. This will receive the course ID and we have the chapter props. Let me just import that. Okay, so here we have a query. We are fetching the data from chapter and we have a condition where, because each chapter has a course as a reference. So if we go into the content, you will see each chapter will have a reference to the course, which is here. So you can actually use the reference property as the ID of the course. So we're passing the course ID. That means we will get all the chapters where the course ID is this. So here are all the chapters and we are sorting this in an ascending order using the order property. As you can see, each chapter has the order property as well. So we're going to sort this in ascending order and we will get the ID, title, description, video URL, and then the order. Once we get this data using the Sanity client, then we return the chapters. Let's just save this and let's go back. And here we need to call this API, fetch chapters by course ID. And here we need to provide the course ID here. So first we need to get it from the props, course ID. It's going to be a string, course ID. So let's save this. It should show the loading. Let me just reload the application. Oh, okay. So it was showing the loading, but it was very fast that I just missed it. So it's showing the dummy chapters, dummy values for now. So let's just replace them. Instead of 5 chapters, we will replace it to the length of the chapters that we got from the Sanity. So here will be chapters dot length. Let's save this. So this course has 5 chapters. Then in the chapter list, we are already passing the item. So here we have the chapter item. So instead of this dummy data, let's just replace this with actual chapter name. has the chapter, we have the item, and then the title of the item. Let's save this. So there we can see all the chapter names, and then we need to provide a description of the item as well. Item description. Let's save this. Okay, so there we can see the actual chapters list from the course. Let's go back. And if you go to this one is paired, so we're not able to see the chapters here. So if we go to this one, we can actually see the chapters. And if we go to all courses, so here we have a UI UX design fundamentals. This one is free course. So if we go to this course, we can see the chapters. But if we go to any other course, because all of them are paid, so we're not able to see the course contents. Now let's go to this one, and let me just check if we are setting the URL right. So here we have a function on play video. So if we click on any of the chapters, this will trigger on play function. And here we're passing the video URL. If I just console log item value, let's save this. And if I click on this, you can see in the console we have the ID, order, title, and the video URL property. So that will be for the chapter, and it's coming from the Sanity. So we're already passing the video URL, so no need to change anything here. And if we just click on it, it's going to play. This will be the course chapter. And once that is completed, you can just go back like this. So all the chapters are fetching and the data is rendering correctly. Now we need to work on showing the paid content here if the user has a premium subscription. So before we implement that, first we need to enable the memberships in our Clerk dashboard. So let's go to the Clerk dashboard. Here you will see a tab called billing. We need to go to the billing and let's get started. Okay, so we need to turn on user billing. Let's do that. Let's save. We have some guides on read billing documentation. So let's open that as well. Now enable user billing. User require a payment method for free trials. Yes. Let's use Clerk payment gateway for now, but there is an option to use your Stripe account for payments. Then we go to the subscription plans. And here Clerk by default provides a free plan, and every user will be on the free plan, but you can actually create your custom plans. So let's create a new plan and let's name this Pro. Key will be Pro and description as upgrade your learning experience. Then monthly fee will be $10, and we can actually give a discount on if user wants an annual discount. So if I just turn this on, then we can actually provide $9 for if user willing to pay annual fee. So we don't want to add free trials, so let's keep this off. Then publicly available, yes, we're going to use the pricing table and user profile components from Clerk. These are very useful, so I'm just going to show you in a second, but then you can add features on your plan. So let's do that. Add a feature. The name will be enjoy access to all the premium courses. Key will be access. Let's add the same description. This should be publicly available. Yes, create a feature. So this is how you can create features that will show on your pricing pages. So let's save this and let's go back. So there we have the default free plan and then a pro plan that will be built monthly or annually based on how user selects. If user will select monthly, he will have to pay monthly $10. If he goes with the annual plan, then he will pay $108 for 12 months. So there is a discount in that. Now let's see how we can present the pricing table and how we can grant premium access to the users. If we go to the Clerk billing, this documentation and then click on billing for B2C SaaS, because we need to charge individual users. So let's click on this one. We have enabled the billing. Payment gateway is already from Clerk. We have created a plan, added the features, then create a pricing page. So Clerk already provides a component that is called pricing table, which is going to render all the plans on your account, and user can choose whatever plan he wants and then pay for that. So the only limitation for now is that in Expo, it will only be accessible on a web page. So we will need to create a separate web page for this one, and we'll have to redirect the user to that page. That is fine for us. So let's implement this pricing table. So we need to actually get it from Clerk Expo/web and render it here. Then we have some control access features where we can control if we want to display some things to premium members or not. So this has function basically lets us create these boolean values. If user has premium access, if user has this feature on his membership, and then based on this we can dynamically show the UI to the user if he has a membership or he has a feature in his membership. So here is a snippet that shows how we can use this. So if the Clerk is loaded, then we are checking if user is on a bronze plan. If this is true, then this will be true. If not, then this will be false. So you can control what you want to show to the bronze plan users, and if it's not subscribed to that plan. So then we have another component that is called protect. That is what we're going to use. So basically what this will do is here we can provide a plan and then a fallback UI. So only the users with that bronze plan will be able to see what's inside this component, and the rest of the users will be able to see only the fallback component content. So this is very handy for us because we need to display this content if the user is not subscribed to any plan. And then we need to show the chapters if user is subscribed to the pro plan. So that is very useful for us, and we're going to use the same functionality as well. So let's use the protect component in our course details page. Let's go to the course details. So here we already have this is paid property, and we are using this here. So if is paid is true, then we need to use this component protect like this, and now we need to add some properties to this. So if user plan is pro, only then we will be able to see the chapter list. But if it's not, then we need to provide a fallback content. So fallback property will be showing this content that we have here that will show go premium. So let's just copy this one, this box, and paste it here. So the fallback UI will be for only free members because they are not on the premium plan. But if the user plan is pro, then what's inside this protect component will be visible to the users. So what I'm gonna do is I will just add this component here, and let's just remove this. So this will be visible if the course is paid, but if it's not, we need to change the condition. So if the course is paid, then we will use protect, but if it's not, then we'll just simply show the chapter list because the course is free and user should be able to see all the chapters in the free course. So this is for that. And to understand the protect, if the user's current plan is pro, only then he will be able to see the chapter list from this course. And if the course is paid but the user plan is not pro, he's on a free plan, then he will see this content to ask him to buy the premium membership. So let's save this. Right now it shouldn't change anything because we are on a paid course and we shouldn't be able to see anything. And if we go to the free course, we can see all the free chapters. So let's go back, go to the paid. So now here we need to redirect the user to the billing page when he clicks on subscribe to subscribe to the premium membership. Then when he comes back, then he'll be able to see the course contents. So for that, first we will need to create a billing page. So let's go to the main group, and here let's create a new file, billing.tsx. Let's create a new functional component. Let's save this. So on the billing page, we actually need to create two views. One is the pricing view, and then the other is the profile view. Pricing view will basically show the pricing table, and that will render all the plans from our Clerk account. And the profile view will actually show the profile view of the Clerk profile of that user. So you can actually see if we use the profile view. I'm not sure if we have the documentation here, but it's very similar to how we can use the pricing table. We can just import the profile view, and then it will show the profile view of that user, but from the Clerk. So let's use that. First, we will need to create these views. So let's create a pricing view first. Pricing view. Let's import the box from the components. Let's give it a class name as flex1. Padding top of 20, gap of 6, and padding horizontal of 7. Then inside this, we are going to add a text as text center, font semi-bold, and text to Excel. This will say premium plans. Let's go with that. And now we need to render the pricing table. So let's get the pricing table. It's not auto importing, so let's just import the pricing table from what was the name of the import. So let's just copy this one. So we can just add this and save this, and then this will show the pricing table and all the plans. But we also have a property here that is called new subscription redirect URL. And as the name suggests, it will just redirect the user whenever he subscribes to membership. So we need to provide the user profile page so that whenever user subscribes to a plan, he will go back to his profile page. And we haven't created that page yet, but let's just add the link for that page, and that will be HTTP. This will be on web, so localhost, the port of our server. So in our case, it's the port 8081. So port 8081 profile, like this. So once user subscribes to a plan, then he will be redirected to the profile page, which we still need to create. So let's save this. Then we need to create another view for the profile. Let's add a box. Let's give it a class name, padding top of 15. And then inside we can import user profile. Let's save this. Now we need to make a condition to check if we are on a web platform. Only then we will render these, because for now these only support on web platform. So let's create a condition if platform.os equals to web. Then we need to return a view. Let's use the box, give it a class name as flex1, item center, justify center. And then inside we're going to use the same component we used before, the protect. And then here we need to add a plan. If plan is pro, then user will see the profile view. And if it's not pro, because initially user will be on a free plan, so we need to have the fallback as the pricing view. I actually got the spellings wrong for pricing view. Let's fix that. Like this. Let's save this. Okay, so what this will do is when a user goes to the billing page, it will actually go to the user profile. Like here you can see, because the billing is shown in the profile view as well, but user won't be able to access it because he's not on a pro plan initially. And then the fallback view comes in. This will show the pricing view. So the pricing view will show the pricing table, and then it will show all the plans from our account. Then a user will be able to select the plan, then pay for the plan, and once he is on a premium plan, he will be able to redirect back to the profile view, and that is here we added this property, new subscription, redirect URL. But if user has a plan already and then visits this page, then he will obviously see this profile view. So if he's on a web, then he will see this. But if the platform.os is Android or iOS, then we need to inform the user that billing is only supported on the web. So billing is only supported web for now. Let's save this. So hopefully this will work as expected. So we can just remove this. Now let's go back to the course details. And we need to move to that page when we click on the subscribe button. So let's add an onPress property. Now that is not a page within the application. It needs to be open on the web. So we're going to use the linking from React Native. And then open a URL. We need to provide the web URL. So that will be HTTP localhost, then 8081, and then billing. Let's save this. So now it's going to open that and it will show the billing page, and it will hopefully show the pricing view, and we'll see all the plans. So let's see if this works. Let's click on subscribe. It's opening a URL. I think it's actually bundling the web part of the app. As you can see, it's bundled the web. So that's why it took some time. So after some time, we can actually see the premium plans. We have free plan and the pro plan. If billed annually, we will be charged $9 monthly. But if we uncheck this, we'll be charged $10 monthly. We can actually see the features here as well. So this is working fine. Now let's see what happens if I try to subscribe. Let's go with the annual plan. Let's hit subscribe. Now we need to actually log in with our Clerk account here. If we used Google, then we can use Google. But I think this one we use the email. So let's use that. Then the password. Okay. So now we are logged in. So let's hit subscribe. And we go to the checkout. We can see the pro plan, the subtotal of our membership. And here we can provide the card details to pay. But because we're using the test mode, so we can actually pay with the test card. So let's just click on this. Payment was successful. And let's continue. So after we continue, as you can see the unmatched store, because this page doesn't exist, we are actually going to the profile. If we go into the billing page, if you remember, we added new subscription redirect URI, and that was this page. After we done subscribing to a new plan, it will go to your profile. So that's what it's trying to do. But now we are on the new plan, the premium plan. So now we should be able to access the pro features of the app. Let's go back to the application, and let's just refresh the application. Okay, so here first we have the paid plan. If I go to this, now we are able to see all the content because now we are on a pro plan. So if I go to the Clerk dashboard, here we can see the users. And I subscribed the plan on this one. So let's go to this user. I'm not sure we can see the subscription. Oh, here we have the subscriptions tab. And then first we have the free plan and it was ended. Then we subscribe to the pro plan. There we can see the next payment will be on December 25, 2026. The amount. We can actually click on this and see all the details. Then you can see. So here's how it will look when we subscribed to a plan. And if we go to the billing section, here we can actually see the MRR and the revenue generated using these memberships. So this is very useful, and here we can see all the subscribers that are currently active. So this is really cool. Then let's go back and let's try to implement our user profile page because that is missing. So let's add a new page as profile.tsx. Let's create a functional component, profile web. Here we need to define a box, add a class name as flex1, justify center, item center, gap of 3, padding top of 2. Then let's add a box again, give it a class name as width full, padding horizontal of 4, items center. Then inside this we need to define a button to return to the app. So let's import the button and let's give it a class name as rounded XL, maximum width as 2XL, and on press will trigger the return to app function. Let's create that function here and leave it empty for now. So here it will just say return to the app like this. After this box, let's create another box. Also, this box is just an alternative to the view, but it comes with Gluestack UI, so I'm just going to use the box, but it's very same to the view component. So inside this, now we need to render the user profile. So user profile, and here we need to provide a fallback UI as well. Whenever the user profile is loading, only then it will use this fallback UI. So we can add a property fallback, and let's add a box, give this a class name as flex1, item center, justify center. I'm going to show a spinner to show the user that the profile view is loading. So let's use spinner, class name as text white, then the size will be large like this. So let's close this and save this. So now we need to implement this return to app function, and for that first we need to get the scheme of our application, and that we can get if we go to app.json file. You can define a scheme of your application that should be relevant to your app name. So here it's already added scheme course app, so we can use this to go back to the app from the web browser. So let's use that. This needs to be an async function. So let's add the URL. In our case it will be course app, then these backslashes. So whenever we hit this URL from a web browser, it's going to open our application. So then we need to add a try catch block. And in case if we have any error, we just toast the error. So we need to get the toast as well. So const toast using use toast from the hooks. And in the try block, first we need to check if this URL is supported or not. So let's get supported, and let's use await linking. There is a function that can check if we can open the URL. So I can open URL, and we need to provide this URL. This will return a boolean if we can open the URL. So if is supported is true, then we await linking dot open URL and then provide this URL. But if it's not, then we can just simply show a toast that unable to open the app, make sure it's installed, just like this. So let's save this. And we're only doing this because right now our application is working in an Expo Go environment. It's not actually an application. We are using a wrapper around our application, and this will be only supported when we have a development build of our application installed on our device. It will only work then, because if we don't have any application, we will just simply get this error. So we'll have to pre-build this application to test if we can actually go back to our application. So to test this functionality, we will have to pre-build our application, and we will do that in a second. So let's just save this, and let's go to the profile web and see if we can see the profile. Let's go to the home screen, and here we have the settings model. Actually, we need to go to the settings menu, and here we need to redirect the user to the profile or billing using these options. Let's add on press property on this on press. First, let's create a function that will open a URL. So let me just copy this here. Here's a function open URL. We will pass the URL, and this will just open the URL in a web browser like this. So let's add an on press property, open URL. The profile URL is HTTP and then the local host 8081, then profile. And let's copy this one for the billing. Let's save this, and hopefully it should work now. So let's go back. Let's just reload the application. Okay, so let's go to profile. Now it's building the web version of the app, and there we can see the profile view. We have the return to app button, and we have the profile view. It's not in the centered, so let's go to profile. It should be here. So items center. Let's save it. Now it's in the center. So we can actually see the profile and update the profile from here. And if we go to this menu, we can go to security. We can delete the account from here and update the password. We can go to billing, and we are currently on a pro membership. So here it will show the subscription, your statements, the payments that you have made. So all the details are accessible using this small dashboard for each user. You can actually see the payment methods and add a new method as well. So right now I'm just gonna cancel this and go to the profile. Here we can see the profile view and update the profile. If I update the name, let's just add Nomi and save. And let's also update the user profile as well. Let's go to the photo library and let's use this one. And it's updated. So right now the return to app button won't work, because as I said earlier, we need a development build for that. So right now it will just not work. So we're gonna have to go back to Expo Go, and it doesn't update automatically, which we're gonna fix in a second when we make a development build. So let's just reload the application. And there you can see the updated name and the user avatar. So we have profile and the billing page, and then user is able to see the paid courses. If I just log out and then log in with the Google account, with a different account, let's choose this one. Now I won't be able to see the paid content because I'm not subscribed to a pro plan on this account. So it shouldn't let me see the content of this paid course. So if I click on this, as you can see, buy our premium membership to watch this course. Let's go back, but I'm able to see all the free courses and use the app for seeing only the free courses. So that is all good. Now let's log out and log in with the other account. And now if I go to the paid courses, I'm able to see this because I'm a pro user. So I can see all the paid content. So now all the functionality is added. Now let me just pre-build the application to create a development build, and let's see if the return to app functionality works. So to pre-build, what you're gonna do is close the server and you don't have to run the command pre-built. You can just run npx expo run and then colon iOS. It's going to pre-build and then install a development build of this application on this device. Okay, so now the pre-build is finally complete and the development build is finished. So if I go to the home screen, let me show you how that looks like. So here you can see the course app. This is actually the same app that we used in the Expo Go, but now it's a real app on the iOS device. Now let's see how everything is working. Get started. And now let me just log in with my account. Okay, so the login is working, and on the home screen we can see all the courses. We can see all the available courses as well. And if I go to a paid course, I'm able to see all the course content. And if I click on a course chapter, there we can see chapter video is playing. We can actually make it full screen and then back and then close the video player. So let's go back. Now let's go to the profile page. And this is the old profile page that is showing. Now here we can see the profile page, and now if I click on return to the app, now we get this model. Open this page in course app because the app is installed. It's actually installed on your device. That's why it won't throw an error. So open the app. Now it's open the app. Now there is still an issue with this application. Let's say if we don't have any premium membership and then you open the browser, start the membership and then come back to the application, the session won't be updated because the session doesn't know that you updated your membership in a browser and then came back. So we need to fix that. And before we fix that, let me actually show you what the problem is. So let me just cancel this user's membership. How do we cancel that? And subscription now. Yes, we don't have the pro plan anymore on this user, and we can confirm this if I just reload the application. Now if I go to a paid plan, we shouldn't be able to see this because we no longer have the premium membership. But if I go to a free course, I can see all the content because it's already free. So now let's go to subscribe the premium plan. Here we have the premium plan. Let's subscribe. Pay. The payment was successful. So let's continue. Now we are on the profile view, and now when we click on return to app, we can go to the app. But if I go to this paid course, it's still showing this content because it hasn't updated the current session. So the current session doesn't know that user has updated the premium plan. So we need to refresh the current session. For that, let's go to the index page. Because when we move back to the application, we first open the splash screen. So here we need to reload the session so that it knows the updated premium plan. First, we will need to get the user from use user hook. So let's get user, use user hook. Then we need to define a use effect hook. And inside, whenever the component mounts, we will just call a function refresh user. Let's define that function here, refresh user. It's going to be an async function. We'll call a function user.reload. And that's it. So this will reload the user session and we will have the updated data in our application. So we don't have to do anything else. Let's just reload the application. Now that I've reloaded the application, the session will know the premium membership. But if we try all the steps again, now the session will know the updated data. So First, we will have to cancel the subscription again. So let's go to the Clerk dashboard. This is the one. So let's just end the subscription now. And now user is on a free plan. So let's reload. Okay, so now if I go to a paid plan, I no longer able to see the content. Let's subscribe, and then pay. Okay, payment was successful. Now we're back to the user profile. Let's return to the app. Now if we open the application and go to this paid course, as you can see, it's updated the session because of this line. We reloaded the user session and now we're able to have the updated session and everything is working smooth. Okay, so with this our application is complete, but we still need to test this on Android to see if we have any issues. Let's just close this. And for Android, let's just run this command npx expo run Android. Now it's going to pre-build for Android and create a development build on an Android simulator. It just opened an Android simulator on my screen. Okay, so it just finished the pre-build and building the development build on Android. So it's installed on Pixel 9 Pro. And here you can see the application is already running. We can see the welcome page. Let's get started. The animations are working. The UI is looking good. So let's try to log in. Let's try to log in with the Google. Okay, I'm not logged in with the Google account on this device. So let's just go back. But it is working. So let me just log in with the email and the password. Okay, so I'm logged in on my account and there you can see the user profile, the courses, and we can explore the all available courses. If I go to the course content, you can see all the chapters. If I click on any chapter, and we can see the chapter video if I hit play. And once we're done playing the video, we can go back. And similarly, we can see all the chapters. So let's go back. And then here is a free course we can explore. So I'm able to explore all the courses because I'm on a pro membership. So now if we go to the billing section, it's currently showing me the plans because I'm not logged in. So the browser doesn't know that I have a premium membership. So I will just click on subscribe anyway. So now we need to log in. So let me just log in with my account and then the password. Okay, so now we are back to the profile page because I'm already subscribed to a plan. So now it's not showing me the billing details again. We can go to security, update the password. And here you can see now I'm logged in on this Linux device. We can update the password. We can go to billing, see our current membership, or we can actually cancel the membership from here as well. If we go to manage, we can just click on cancel membership and cancel the subscription, but I'm going to keep this. So let's cancel this, go back to the profile. So everything is working flawlessly. Let's go back. So everything is working flawlessly on Android as well. If we search for any course, we can search as well. If we go to this course, this was a paid course, so I'm able to see this because I'm on a pro membership. So everything is working. Let's remove this. Now we have all the recent courses. So with this, our application is complete And now you've learned how you can implement Clerk authentication in your applications, which is a very secure way to implement authentication. You can have other types of authentications like email, password, Google, GitHub, all kind of social providers as well. Then we learned how we can fetch data from Sanity. Then we enabled the billing section of the Clerk, and user was able to create a pro membership and access the pro content on our application. But there are so many more other features to try in Clerk. I'll be creating other videos on explaining all of those. But in this video, you learned how you can add Clerk authentication and how you can manage billing, how you can charge individual users. So this is very useful for if you are creating a SaaS application, so you can manage all your users, their memberships in one place, and if you're giving a discount, everything you can manage in one place. So this is all in one complete package. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, then do subscribe the channel for more content like this. And if you want to sharpen your React Native skills, and you can get the source code of this project in the video descriptions. To follow me on Insta, Twitter, and GitHub. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.